Mark, a lot of people are worried about TikTok being banned. What's your prediction?
That is a really hard question because we are now have a change of government, and it was the Biden administration that brought the ban about. And the Trump administration had concerns about TikTok, but at the end of that administration, they were more lenient on TikTok. So it's very interesting to think about what will Trump do. But I would like to address, if I may, a little bit about my concern about what I'm seeing on TikTok and what I'm seeing from Gen Z specifically, and their anger towards this ban. And I understand it. I mean, please, I'm not trying to build a brand or become a social media influencer specifically, but if I had spent my youth trying to build a brand and suddenly it was going to be all taken from me, and something that I had invested in and other people had got accustomed to viewing, and it's a habit and everyone likes it, it's kind of hard to take that away.
Right.
So I have a lot of sympathy for the people right now that are in pain with the idea of having their platform taken. In fact, some of our closest friends to our cause and who are helping us with protecting children, I mean, they too have been demonetized on YouTube. And in fact, they just got remonetized on YouTube after a year. And it's a big deal for them because it means with the monetization, they can actually help people. And if what we forget is that while we're censoring and telling people what you can say and not say, there are people that actually get hurt that are trying to do a lot of good. And they get hurt because censorship cuts both ways. And sometimes the good gets censored while you're trying to figure out who's the good and the bad. So what I've noticed specifically, going back to TikTok, we have that strange phenomena starting to occur where good people are going to be hurt and bad people are actually going to finally get their reward, which is to be deplatformed by having TikTok maybe taken from them. But who are the bad actors? And why does this matter? And why am I asking everyone to be a little sympathetic to the US government? First of all, I don't believe the government is so worried about TikTok taking down the US government or taking down our system of governance. I heard that case made by a college student, and I was truly, Kim, surprised, shocked at how she vehemently made this whole dissertation about how American government should treat its people with the respect of allowing them to make decisions, and that if TikTok is bad, it's up to them, the people, to make the decision if it's bad, and how dare the government step in and tell us what we can and cannot do. And if it's Chinese, who cares? But the fundamental problem is that in China, they have the Chinese TikTok, but they're not allowed to actually criticize their government. In fact, what this young lady did in China would have her arrested. So yeah, I have a problem when I have a beautiful young lady talking about stuff that ultimately at the end of the day, she's missing a few incredibly important points. Because we're not worried about China just militarily or competitively. We're worried about China because of the actions China's taken against people. And for whatever harm you think America's done, the best thing I can say to prove my point is not to try to prove it beyond say, then how come are we the most sought after country in the world for people to immigrate to? And actually, Kim made that point to me, and I think it's a great way just to surmise the argument. So if anyone thinks America's such a bad place, well, the rest of the world disagrees with us because we're only almost 320 million Americans approximately. And the truth is we're a minority throughout the whole world. There's many countries larger than us, and we're not geopolitically, there's not that many of us. So the truth is Americans need to reconsider this idea of who are good actors and bad actors, because China has proven with its own firewall and to what it's done to its own people that it doesn't have the best interests at heart of its own people. So when we are worried about what TikTok's doing to our society, it's not that we're worried about the degenerative videos, because people forget about the 60s. They forget there's been other eras and prohibition and the wild 20s. America has many times gone one direction and then the pendulum swung to the other direction. So this whole idea that what's happening now is more revolutionary than what happened in the past is actually kind of incorrect. But what is occurring today is people are less familiar with history. So going back to this young woman, what I found so sad is that she is literally only showing the Chinese government her entitlement. She's showing that she can't live without TikTok, even if TikTok is bad, even if TikTok is against her country. Who cares? If the country is too fragile to deal with it, who cares? I hope everyone realizes that's a fundamental problem. I do care. I do care that this young lady doesn't have any respect for her country and believes her country is bad. I do care that she doesn't care about what China does. And I do care when she says that TikTok, it should just be left alone. Now, I want to make it clear, I don't want to ban TikTok. But there's so many ways we could take care of TikTok without banning it. And there are so many ways this could be handled in a just way. And one of the ways that could be done is you don't have to divest ByteDance of their investment in TikTok, but you could put a board of governance into the United States, and you could make sure all the servers were based in the United States for American data. And if you really wanted to, you could firewall the crap out of it, because China's proven they can do it to a whole country. I'm sure we could do it with TikTok. So banning is really not an issue. So the banning is not because of technology, everyone. Banning is because China is a bad actor on the world scene.